All right, the figures I'm going to use in this small scene are from the German anti-tank team with the Panzerschreck. I'm going to use the two figures there in the great coats with the soldier firing the Panzerschreck. This is one of Dragon's, I guess, newer sets, and they're kind of the Gen 2 series, where it says Gen 2 here. And that being said, the parts, like the body parts, are in halves. They kind of made it where it's a little more of a multi-purpose, I'm going to say. If anybody remembers the Airfix multi-purpose, I guess you could swap some of these around. I don't think you could swap these figures around with the great coats, but the other figures here, the other two soldiers walking, you might be able to. So one day I might mess with these and do something different, try to convert them. But anyway, I'm going to start taking these guys off, these two, and cleaning them up and assemble them, and let's see how they look once they're done. One other thing about these Gen 2 figures, as you can see here, the faces come in halves, a back half and a front half. And I don't like those. They're really kind of useless. So I'll be definitely replacing them with some aftermarket heads, Hornet, Alpine, something I have in my parts box. So yeah, that's definitely going to be changed on them. The other thing that I like about these figures in this set is the great coats come in pieces that you glue on after you've assembled the body, and it really makes a convincing look because of the layers instead of just one continuous molded plastic figure with the great coat all just molded in one piece. This gives you layers that wrap around each other, and it looks a lot more convincing. The other thing that's really nice is the hands. You could use these hands for conversions on other figures and stuff like that. I really like them. The hands look really good. So that's one thing. And most Dragon figure sets I don't care for, but there's always a few that I like. And ones, you know, like these, I look at them and I say, I think I can do something with those. By the way they look, just the whole feel and look of them, I feel like I can tell I can do something with them. So we'll see. I hope so on this one, because I really am kind of excited about getting this one completed and see how it looks. Okay, I've got one figure done here, and I really like the way the great coat is engineered and molded into 4 pieces. It really looks a lot better than the figures that are molded in one piece with these great coats. So on this one, I've got some places here that, where's it at? When I go to put it on, I'm going to have these seams right here. So what I'm going to do, and I've showed people before, is at the bottom, when the glue, liquid cement, is almost done and there's just a little tiny bit, I put these sprues from these kits and into the cement, and it makes this melted styrene plastic. And what I can do is put it along here when I go to glue on these pieces to fill that seam, and that's what I'm going to do. So just wanted to give you an update here on how it's going. I mean, these figures, if you really want them to look good, you got to spend time on them. You just don't snip them off the tree, clean up a little bit, glue them together, and prime them. You've got to make sure everything looks straight. Seams are all taken care of. because once you paint them and you do some close-up photography, you're going to see seams that you missed. You're going to see grit and sanding, pieces of dust from the sanding that were on there, and you're like, oh no. So once I'm done with getting these guys all together, I'm going to even wash them and make sure they're really clean, and before I even start painting. So let's finish these guys off and keep moving. Okay, I switched gears a little bit and started from working on the figure to the diorama situation here. So as most of you have seen, I use these plastic boxes for bases, and they come apart. Let's see how this one comes apart here. Yeah, come on. All right, anyway, they come apart and you've got this situation. Where they just slide into each other to make a cube. Okay, well, it's much easier than what it looks here. Okay, there you go. So anyhow, what I want to do this time, I've got two. I bought two, and so I've cut it apart. As I pulled it apart, you get the two pieces. So what I did, I'm trying to make more bases out of one. You know, I can get this with my Dremel tool. I just cut this out. And so what I did is I glued on pieces of plastic that I get from the sign shops, the scraps. And I'm going to try to make two bases out of it. So I glued these on. It works great with model cement. So I glued on these sides, and then I glued a piece on inside here as the floor, because I'm going to have a building that I'm going to make scratch built. So we'll see how this works out. And second thing I've done is I started laying out the small building section that I'm going to have on the diorama. So what I did is I used one of the figures to kind of get a gauge of size. So I wanted the windows to be about there, because I'm going to have some stairs around the side. This is going to be one side of the building and the other side of the building, and as you can see here, the roof will come down off this, and I'll show you that in a little bit after I cut everything out. The windows are from the Mini Art diorama set, accessory set, and I'm going to do this situation like this. So what I'm going to have to do is I measured them out to cut out, because I want them recessed back a little bit, so I'll put some styrene pieces back here to recess it back. And then when I'm all done with everything and the windows are in, I will put a backing and just spray paint it black and put some clear plastic for the windows. And then with the black behind it, you just kind of, it just looks shiny, and that's it. So it's just going to be a basic building. I am going to make it brick, and I've got a few other little things I want to do to it. So anyhow, and then I will do it with the A and B 2-part Sculpey, Magic Sculpt. And like I said, this is going to go in here and be part of the scene here. So anyhow, let's get at it and start working on the rest of it. So what I've got so far is one window in, and what I'm doing is I'm putting these sheet styrene pieces, evergreen, that I have, and I'm just using them to back up the window so it's not flush with the that's going to go in there, and that keeps it from being flush with the outside, and the outside is going to get some stonework. So that's where I'm at right now. So let's keep moving. Okay, a lot of work done. So I've got the building assembled the way I want it as the shell right now before the A and B magic sculpt goes on. The roof is the Plastruct shaker roof. It's 1/48 scale, but I think it looks fine in 35th. And once again, the windows from the Mini Art set, and those are set up recessed with the plastic. I've got some evergreen styrene boarded this is evergreen styrene also. It's like a board pattern, and I put in here. So yeah, this is all there's gonna be bricks, and I think I'm gonna put bricks up here too. The window seals are just plastic, evergreen styrene sheets, and actually I think one is a sheet and one I just trimmed out of my plastic. So that being said, I put it on this. I made a small drawing of what I want. I made a small drawing for what I wanted for my diorama, small vignette diorama, whatever you want to call this one. So we've got steps here, a wall here, small wall up the steps, a sidewalk, cobblestone street, and maybe a little indentation for where water would flow next to the sidewalk. So what I did is I started tearing up plastic, and we got this in here, and everything fits together. I really like working with the plastic. I just feel like it's a model, and then the magic sculpt will clean up any of these open places here. I'll just fill with magic sculpt. So what I'll probably do is I'll do this small wall first, do all this, and then actually I won't do the sidewalk. I'll do the small wall, I'll do the building, put the building inside, then do the sidewalk, then do the stairs, and then the road. And that way the magic sculpt will fill up any of these cracks and crevices. I've got a really bad one here, but that's all right. I can take care of that with the magic sculpt. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. What I've done also is with the base that I showed earlier, got it so it fits in there. And yeah, and everything fits together like so. Yeah, I think it's going to work out really well. The magic sculpt is going to really make it come alive. So, all right, let's get going. Keep at it. Okay, so I've got my magic sculpt out, and I made a little bit here. And what I'm going to start first is I'm going to do the road section here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get little pieces like this, and I'm going to roll them in a ball, and I'm going to set them like so. And just going to keep doing little balls like this, different sizes. Nothing bigger than that. And I'm going to put those all for the road. And then when I'm done putting all these, I will press into them with a toothbrush to get some texture. So let's do a whole bunch of these like that through there, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, I've made the stones And here in the middle, I pressed in a little further because I wanted it to be a little lower along the sidewalk where water drainage would go, to get an idea of the scale of these little stones that I made. There you go. There's an idea of the scale of them. So you want to do them different sizes, not too big, obviously. And I've got some little ones in there mixed in. So now is the fun part. This really changes everything. Now in the cracks that are left, I will put spackling. But this is how I do it. I'll be doing this to the bricks on the wall too, but obviously they'll be a different shape. And I think what I'm going to do this time is make like a jig for bricks. I'm going to make a pattern out of some styrene and make it so I can press it into the building for the bricks. So there you go. That's all I do. There's your stone street here. And like I said, I will put spackling in between these cracks. And I might just define some of these that are crushed down a little bit more, so they have more of a crack in between them. All right, that's that step right there. Okay, here's the final road work here, and what I did is after I pressed it with the toothbrush, I went and bent this little piece of metal here so I could go in and push in around all the little stones to give a little bit more definition, because the toothbrush, after it's pressed in, kind of presses them together and they don't have a good defined edge. So I went back in and I defined the edges, and I think this looks pretty cool actually. So that's going to work for that. Next I think I'm going to do the building, because actually I could do this. That's going to have brick too, so I don't know if I want to ornament or something on here. I don't know. Got to check that out. But yeah, it's coming along good, and I think this is going to be a really cool looking one. Okay, I'm going to work on this little wall here, and I want it to be brick. So I've got these scale bricks that I've had for a long time. I think came from Custom Dioramas. Long time ago they sent them to me. And what I did is I made this little piece of wire the size of the brick long ways, and this wire the length of it this way, basic. So my goal is to go across with the long one and then the short one, do the bricks in between. And I've got to make sure that everything's aligned, and I don't do them too small or too big or whatever for this one. So what I've got here is some Magic Sculpt already ready. What I'm going to do is pick out some pieces, flatten it out just a little bit. This is how I do all my walls, either with stones or bricks or stucco, whatever. And then I put the stuff on, and I get it in there, really push it in real good. Yeah, push it in really good. And then once it's on there really good, with just a thin layer. Now the layer's about, I don't know, it's not very much. So let me put all this on there, and then I'm gonna texture it after I put this on. I will texture it, and then start doing the bricks. And as I said, I'll texture it with a toothbrush first, and then I'll do a toothbrush a little bit afterwards. I'll show the results in a minute. Okay, so with the wide tool, I've done this row, and this row, and this, and down here. So next, I will get the smaller one I made to go in between the bricks, and I want to keep them about that size. Let's get at it. Okay, after the bricks are all carved in, I just give it a light texture, push in a little bit. And there it is. There's these bricks. And on top I'm gonna do like some slabs here. So I've got some stuff left, and that's what we're gonna do. So what I did here was put some Magic Sculpt on top for like a stone, I want to call it flat stone top. And I've just textured a little bit. I may texture a little bit more, but now I'm gonna work in some seams between the larger flat stones here on top to finish off this little wall. Okay, what I've got now is I've started this. I spread out the Magic Sculpt, really thin, and textured it with a toothbrush. And now I'm just going to put in individual blocks, seams, and that's it for this. So see, I work a little bit at a time on different sections. I let it dry. It usually takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to set up and start getting hard. Yeah, this is a couple hours here and it's done. This one, it's still a little tacky. So it gives you, you'll have enough time to work with it. But yeah, I think this should be coming out really good. I'm looking forward to finishing this guy up. I love doing these. I don't know, I say I'm gonna start doing more. I get into this, mood, and I do them, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm burnt out and I'll do something different. But right now, I love doing these because they're custom, they're one of a kind, they're not a kit, so it just makes it really unique. So, okay, I got some more putty here. I'll start working on some different sections. It's got to be small. First I got to put those seam lines, and then we'll get to another section. Okay, here we've got the these side blocks finished up on the side here. I just put in a groove with these tools, and then texture it again. It needs a little bit more because I think they're a little thick lined. So I'll texture a little bit more, soften it up. Okay, what I'm going to do now is start on the wall, and I'm going to start with some bricks. I've marked off here where it goes against the stairs. I don't want to put any putty on this part because I'm going to do the stairs last, and then fill in where it needs to go up against this house. So I've got my putty mixed. I'm going to spread some out on this right here, start working in this section right here. So let's get at it, and let's start sculpting some bricks. Okay, I've spread the putty out as flat as possible here, and what I'm going to do now is press into it with the toothbrush, and that's going to even press it in a little bit further. It's going to spread it out really nice, evenly on there, but yet I want it still a little bit bumpy so the bricks have some texture and form. But this toothbrush texture. It's more than just texture. It's kind of pressing the putty really into the plastic and flattening it out as much as possible. So let's get at that. Okay, as you see here, I've textured it with the toothbrush. It kind of pushed it all around to flatten out onto the plastic, and now I can start carving in the brick. So let's get at it. So what I've done here is I've used this steel rule and just pressed it in along the wall section here to give the horizontal lines. And I'm going to go in with these little tools I made and start carving in the bricks, and then I will individually maneuver them and alter them as needed by the way they look. Okay, this side's done. As you can see, the toothbrush really gives it really nice texture, and kind of cleans up the lines a little bit, makes them look more stone-like instead of me just pushing them in. These window seals, I'm going to have to put something on them to give them some texture, but I don't want to put the putty because I don't want to thicken them up, so I'm going to have to probably use like some cement or something and just rough them up. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I've got the stones going around the steps. So the final thing I will do once this is glued in place, I will do the steps last, since they're going to have to go up against here and they're going to stick. And that's going to clean up this gap, any of the gaps there. I've got a bunch of putty left. So it's starting to get harder. I may have to start putting less hardener in it for these bigger space places, but I also don't want it to be too tacky and stay too wet. So, but I'll put a little less hardener next time. So I might just put the front stones here because I don't want to do anything here yet. So I may put some stones up against this side, maybe work inside here, and that's about it for now. But let's get at it. Okay, I've got the building on. I've got all the brickwork done here. And I had a little bit of putty left, so I started on the stairs. I'm doing these like flat tile stones on top here. So I've just got these two to go. And then I've got to do the walkway here. And I'm gonna put a gutter, and I'm making the gutter out of just sprue from the trees in a model kit. And on the bigger cities in Germany, these gutter pipes would go underground to drain the water out of the city. And so I'm doing that, and I left a little piece of the sprue tree for like a clean out. And now I've just got to make a gutter on the top. And what I'm going to do is just out of this same sprue from one of the kits, I'm just going to put some sides on it to be part of the gutter, and just it's very small, which I like, and I'm going to put it right there underneath here, and then with some sprue put a pipe from it into this. And then I had another idea from the mini art accessory kit. I got one of the gates and I cleaned it up, took some of the center pieces out. There's little round pieces in the center. And let's see, I want it taller in the back. So I'm gonna put this here, so. And I think that's gonna be kind of cool. It won't stay right now. I'm gonna glue it in place, and there we go. Yeah. Gotta actually straighten it out, but anyhow, that's There, that's gonna go there, like so. So I think that's gonna be cool. It's adding more detail and life to this project. So let's get back on the putty. Okay, so I've put the putty into the steps. I just flattened it out, laid it on top, and then I worked it in a little bit and with my finger, and just the back of this file, just pushed it in everywhere. And then now I'm just giving it texture and working it even more into the plastic, which the plastic is a skeleton for it, you know. And that's, if you get everything really good with the plastic, then you're gonna get good results, because it just gives a good foundation for the stone, so it looks like, you know, it's square and straight and things like that. That's the important part, is get your foundation good. You know, like I said, I'm just real comfortable using Magic Sculpt now, because I've been using it so long. And a lot of modelers use foam, and they have excellent, amazing results. And it's probably easier, I guess. I know one thing, this thing is like a rock. It's not going to get broken. I could paint it, and I could actually remove the paint if I had to with paint remover. It wouldn't mess up the foam. So this thing is definitely sturdy, strong as heck. So, all right. So then I'm gonna finish this up, put some cracks in it, seams for the stones, and then I'm gonna get on with this, and I'll be pretty much all done with the Magic Sculpt. Okay, we're getting down to the final stretch here. I added the pipe details. I still got to do the gutter at the top, finish it up. This little railing came out really cool. I like it. I think it really is going to add a lot of life and detail to this scene. So I've put the putty down for the sidewalk, and it's still wet. I'm going to texture it with a toothbrush now, which actually really works it into the scene better. It flattens it out. It just gives it that texture that just makes it look really good. You know, this A&B Super Sculpey, it's really, when you do this with the toothbrush, looks great for like stucco. So let me keep working at this, and I'm going to start carving in the stones for the sidewalk, and then we're pretty much getting to the final part of this guy. So let's get at it. Okay, we're done with all the Magic Sculpt. Wow, I've got the gutter done, all the pipe detail, the stairs are done. I'm really pleased with this one. It's coming out good. I like it. I think it's going to be something that's going to look good if I can get it painted right. So hopefully that turns out. That's next. I've got some clear that I'm cutting out pieces to put behind the windows here. I'm gonna have to, I guess, get the top part of that rounded window. There's one more left in the accessory set by Mini Art, and I'll have to use that to cut that oval shape for the glass part in that. But other than that, I think we're done. So I guess I'll start painting. Well, we've come a long way from a sketch to a model here that's ready to paint. I've sprayed it all black. I've taped up the base, and now the fun really starts. Actually, it's all been fun. I love doing custom scratch built type stuff, because it's something you've done all your own, you know, and you can't beat that. So let's get at painting it now. Okay, what I've done here is I've take it outside, and with Mr. Surfacer 1000, I held the can up above and I sprayed down on this scene here, and just to get the highlights from the black. And man, it really shows everything up great now, doesn't it? Looks cool. Next I'll be airbrushing some tones for the bricks, for the road, for the roof, and then I'll start detail painting after I do the airbrushing, by adding, as I said, detail painting, adding washes and painting the different sections. So let's get at it. Okay, so what I've done now is I've just put a little airbrushing tone on. For the brick, I used AK 17, which is the red brawn, and I did that for the brick. And then the roof, I just hit with AK 754 Dunkelbraun, and I just hit the roof and the window frames, and that's pretty much it for that. And then I just mixed a little bit of white in after this one I put a lot of white, and I just highlighted more of the sidewalk, street, stairs, a little bit of this, and on top of here. So the rest of it is all going to be hand painting with washes, artist oils, pastels, and I'll get into all that next as I start. I'm going to start with the bricks first because that's probably the coolest thing. I've got some references that I've been pulling from the internet of old German city buildings, brickwork. So I'm going to try to simulate some of that. I noticed that some of the mortar was white, some of the mortar was dark gray. So I've got to figure out exactly how I want this to look. So let's get at it. All right, so what I've done here is I've got some more of that red brawn that I used to airbrush the bricks, and now I'm going over and painting select ones to give it more interest here. They're not all the same looking, and I think that's one thing that really helps give some life to this and starts shoring everything up. But yep, I'm going to do that on all the bricks, and I may add a little brown to this and darken it up and do a couple other bricks here and there. So let's get at it. Okay, so I mixed these two together, the Rothbraun and the Dunkelbraun, and now I'm going to paint some of the stones just on the sidewalk here. These guys are going to be a little darker. I'm using some reference photos, and then I actually painted some of it on some of the bricks too. So the bricks are painted individually, as many as I wanted to do, which were a lot, and that really brings out the detail now, as you can see. So I'm going to do a few more stones, then change the color up, and then do a few more there and get those done. Okay, starting with the colors that I originally started with, I added a little bit of the field blue, model color 70.964 or 058. Anyway, field blue. I mean, just use a color that close. And I mixed some of these colors with it so that it wasn't a stark blue. And now I've got what I've done so far here. The road is a few different colors of dark, with that dark field blue mixed with some black, and then some of the other beige colors, the light colors, just to give it not such a stark black or blue color. As you can see, the sidewalk, I added some more colors, but this is going to get toned down when I do washes and other weathering. look at the brickwork. I also painted up here with a light colored mixture right here of white and a little bit of this and just a touch of the field blue to get that color. And then I just dry brush very lightly over these stones with that right there. Also did it with the window seals on both sides. So what I have next to paint is the window frames and this wood here, which is going to all match. And I think it's going to be a reddish brown, but I'm going to use artist oils on this one so I can really tone it out and make it look a little different from the brick. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to painting this pipe because I like doing the rusty old looking pipes. I guess it won't be real rusty, but yeah, I think the wash is really, you're gonna see, is gonna make a huge difference on this. It's gonna tie so much together here. So let's get at it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I've got some vinyl spackle and I've put it in this little cup and I'm going to spread it into all these cracks here and here. And just make sure it gets in the cracks. I'm gonna rub it out and then probably with some dampened stiff brush with some water and then clean it out even more. So let's get at it. Put it on like this. And then I'll wipe it all the way before it dries. So I'm going to show you the results when I'm finished. Okay, I've spread the spackling on and now I've got to remove it. Just got some water and a stiff brush. And I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to wipe it. Dampens it up a little bit. Probably gets into more of the cracks too. You know, I was thinking about doing this to the bricks. I'm not sure if I should do this to the bricks or not. Get this. And just start wiping. Yep. There you go. Let's start wiping this away. And I'll show you the finished product. I was using a paper towel to wipe it away, but I think it'd be better to use a soft cloth. The paper towel started coming apart, so I don't want that. But yeah, this is looking cool. What I might do for the bricks on the building is just really dilute some of the spackling at the end when I'm to add the mortar. So yeah, this is exactly what I want. Perfect. And a wash will tone down this white now. Just got to do the right one. Okay, there it is. I added it to the steps also because I like the effect. So I'll be able, you know, I like the way this looks here. You know, it's obviously too white right now, and washes will tone it down and bring it back to earth here. But I'm really liking it, and I'm thinking about doing it on the bricks. And I got a good place to practice right here, so I'll be able to see if I like it or not. I might do that real quick back here just to see what it looks like. But yeah, that's gonna look really good once it's weathered. It's like building a real stone road. Cool. All right, let's get at it. Well, I put it on the bricks and I like it. Yeah, I think it's gonna work pretty good. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna get it all there in the cracks and crevices around stuff so I don't screw anything up. But I'm gonna do that next. I can't wait to see it. Let's get at it. Okay, what I've done now is I've painted some pieces of plastic black, and they're to size because they're gonna go back here and cover up the windows, so that way all you see is black. But yet I'm gonna put some clear plastic in there that I've cut also, and that way it just gives an impression of a you know, a dark building inside. Once I weather the glass and everything, it'll look really cool. So I'm gonna glue that on now. Okay, there it is. The clear glass plastic is installed, and both sides, and the black plastic behind it, I'm gonna end up painting that black too. One of these days, maybe I'll detail the back of one of these. Just need to do it just for the heck of it. It's not seen. So yeah, there's the results. And I think it's pretty cool. Well, I guess I should have painted the window frames first. Well, I can still do that. You'd be surprised what I can do. I'm getting paint on the glass, so I can do that. So we'll do that next, and then I'm going to do some washes here. Start weathering. I glued the clear plastic with this Testors Crystal Clear. I think it used to be called, there's some stuff called micro crystal clear you can use, and this is the Testors version. Just put it behind the frames and then stuck it in. Wow. I can't believe I forgot to paint the window frames. Oh well, I'll get it done. It's not a big deal. They're pretty close anyway. That's a good thing. There it is. It's actually not bad, that color, but I'll spruce it up a little bit. And I can't wait to darken this up a little bit, and then just get some weathering in here. Not a lot. I want the white to still show, but I want to have some signs of weathering on that mortar. So we'll do that. Earlier I had some of that green paint, and I just put a little bit of green in these corners, diluted, just to see how it would look, because I'm going to add some kind of that growth. I don't know what you want to call it, not algae, but moss, whatever, that grows in the corners of the damp areas that are dark. So I'm going to do that a little bit more after the washes. Still got to paint the roof. It's going to be fairly dark. And got to do the pipe, downspout pipe. Get it a little darker, put a little bit of rust here and there, a little bit of staining, that kind of stuff. So let's get at it. Okay, so now I'm going to start the weathering process and actually detail weathering, finishing up. I've got to paint the windows, frames, and I've got some burnt sienna on the piece of cardboard here, along with some burnt umber. The burnt umber is going to be some washes for the sidewalk and the road, and a little tiny bit of really thinned out, maybe some washes on the bricks and other places. So let's get at that and see how this turns out. Okay, the wash has been put on, and I thought it was going to darken the mortar, the white mortar, too much, but it's actually made it where I really like it. It's toned it down enough so it doesn't just look stark white, and it's broken up into places. I like it. The sidewalk and the road looks good. What a difference from white to dark as far as realism. And I painted the wood on this building up here with artist oils. I used the burnt umber, the burnt sienna, And then this color I had here, I'm not even sure what it is. And just mixed it on and put it on there, and then highlighted it and shadowed it with the, I shadowed it with the burnt umber and highlighted it with that color, and then just blended it in with a dry, clean brush. Just blended it all in, and it works out really well. It's basically how you paint figures in oils. But yeah, this is coming out exactly how I want it. I need to paint the gutter and the downspout pipe, which goes underground, and a lot of buildings in Germany, I saw some photos where they have pipes that just go underground for the drainage, probably because they're up high and they can do it that way. The windows, I did the same as the wood on the side. And they didn't have any problems with the glass already in there. I'm gonna weather some of the windows too with some pastels, just to get a little dust and you know, grime around the edges, and that'll be last. So now I'm gonna paint, as I said, the downspout, this metal railing, the gutter, and then the roof will be next. But I'm still not done with all this, because I want some greenish algae growth in here, and a few more things, little details here and there. So let's get at it. Okay, as I just said, I'm gonna do some weathering now with the pastels. I just ground some up in here along with that along with the burnt umber that I was using earlier as for the wash. I'm not gonna really get any of that on it, even though I can, and you get some really cool effects mixing the artist oils with pastels, either dry or wet, in different situations, which I'll show in other videos. I have these pastels because I was weaned on Shepherd Payne and Francois Verlinden, and I have nothing against the pigments and all the other aftermarket stuff you can buy for weathering now, but I just have all this and I've been doing it. It's my comfort zone, and as long as I have these pastels and artist oils, that's how I'm gonna weather. I really don't need anything else. I mean, if I was brand new starting out, pigments and things like that seem pretty attractive, but I have all this. This is how I've been doing it. I'm comfortable. The most important thing, you kind of get a feel for these things over time by doing so much of it, that you know how everything's going to react, how the paint's going to react, or the pastels, or the oils, and the terpenoids. I'm going to mix terpenoid, just a little terpenoid, with these pastels to make like a thin filter to go over the downspout, but I want some of that highlight to show through, but I want to change the tone of it. And then, you know, with a little more weathering with the rust color pastel I have here, I'll put it around some of the fittings and stuff like that to look like rust and forming. And I'm going to also paint these this railing with the same mixture I'm going to do with the downspout, to get like a old iron, dark iron effect. But yeah, everything is coming out, so let's get at weathering. Wow, we're really making progress now. This little scene is really starting to take shape. I painted the roof with burnt umber, and then I highlighted it with this color right here. And now I ground up some dry pastels, really dark brown, and I'm gonna just push them in with a dry brush into the roof similar to what I do with tarps. If you watched my Stuart Honey video, I show tarps and I press in the pastels into the oil paint, and it really makes a cool effect. So I'm going to do it right here, and let's see what happens. Get this brush here. Actually, let's use the other brush. So I've got this brush here, and we're going to get some pastel, and we're just going to dab it in like so. And this is going to flatten everything out and give it some texture and a really cool effect, actually. And the highlights help. Look at that. That is kind of cool. So I'm gonna keep doing that. I have to grind up some more here in a minute, but that's what I'm doing. I'm going to finish it up. Got to grind up some more pastels. Now, if you want to do different tones of pastels, do it. I mean, you can get some really cool effects. I may put a little bit lighter brown in there. But this look at, that's really kind of cool. And it dries really matte, and that's what I want, to run a really matte finish on this roof. So yeah, I'm going to finish that up. And I don't know if you've noticed, I bought this, it's a tablet of big artist oil paper, and I used it so I could do video, so I'd have white background, and I'd have white backgrounds on photographs. But this is really great because I can work on it, get paint on it, do some testing, whatever, cut on it, draw on it, and then when I'm done, I just peel it away and throw it away. And I got a whole new one. And I can do the same thing on it, and it's really nice, and everything shows up great. And so it's been a really good way of doing things here. So let's get at this and finish the roof up. The pipe on the side of the wall here, the downspout, it's really looking cool. And the railing, it's just, this is working out. It's coming out, and I'm really pleased with it. I was worried the white mortar and the bricks was going to disappear, but it actually toned it down just to what I wanted. And I'm real happy with it so far. Can't wait to paint the figures to put with it, but I've got to be patient. Sometimes I get a little impatient and rush things, and then I'm not happy at the end. That's probably why I keep redoing things over and over. But anyhow, let's get at this roof and the rest of the details. Okay, this is a really cool effect for this roof. I ground up some pastels, different darker to lighter, and I'm just, after the artist oil is put on the roof, painted in artist oils, I press in pastels into the wet artist oils, getting this really cool effect. You want to start from darker to lighter, and with a dry brush, you just put a little bit of pastels on and go to an area and just hit it a little bit. Yeah, it really brings out the detail in this roof, flattens everything out, gives it some texture, and creates a really cool effect. Okay, the roof turned out good. I like it. I may do a few little things to it. I'm not sure yet, because this is fun. This is like working on a canvas and keep putting details in, paint this, paint that, move this, change that, highlight, shadow. What I did now is I ground up some greenish olive pastel right there, just a little bit right there. And I'd already had put a little bit of green at the bottom with acrylic paint early on before the wash. And I'm going to put a little bit more on these edges, on the cracks here, different cracks. I may put some up in the pipe down here, maybe some on the roof. But that's just the green moss growth that accumulates in the damper areas, darker areas. So I'm going to do that now. And we're getting to the home stretch here, I think. Wow. I'm really liking it. It's looking good. So let's get at the little tiny details. I do want to show this. So I just get a little bit of turpenoid and get it in here in the pastel powder. Get it really wet. And then I just put it into the cracks here and let it flow in there. And if it looks like too much, because a little bit goes a long way with pastels, if it's real dark on your model, it's going to turn out super dark when it dries. So I just want to put that in there and get it where this moss is going to accumulate and grow, especially in the darker areas here in the stairs around this pipe. So yeah, let's do that and see how it turns out. Okay, I'm getting close to painting these figures. Got them pretty much where I want them, and I was waiting in the mail for this because I'm going to use the guy squatting down, and I've put him together and I've converted him because he leaned over too much, and I wanted him interacting with this figure here, so that way they're speaking to each other in some sort here. And to do that, I had to tilt his torso back. And then he's got a head from Alpine. Alpine always gives two heads of their figures, so I used one of them from one of the sets that I didn't use, and I think it's going to be really good. So what we're going to have here is this character here, and this character here. I did push their feet into the magic sculpt a little bit so I'd get position for them. And then of course the Panzer Shrek guy getting ready, looking around the corner for that T-34. And there you have it. So I'm gonna start painting these guys. I'm gonna paint them all black first, and then I'm gonna overspray for highlights, the uniform colors, the face. I had to go ahead and glue the Panzer Shrek on. I didn't really want to, but I had to get his hands just right. I wanted to glue his hands to the Panzer Shrek, paint everything separately, and then glue it all on, just putting his hands into the sleeves, and it didn't work out. I wanted it really to look tight and real tidy looking. So that's it. So let's get at the painting now. This is going to be a big process, and I want it to come out really good because I'm really liking how this is turning out. Okay, I've got them painted flat black, and I'm going to start airbrushing some tones on them. I've got my airbrush soaking in acetone to clean out all the paint residue because I really want to paint these guys the best ever. Let's get at it. Okay, I started the process of painting the figures. The first thing I did, obviously I painted them black, you saw that. And then I put the airbrush together, cleaned it, and I used German uniform. This is model color Viejo German uniform. And I oversprayed over the top of the black. And I sprayed downward to get that highlight light effect. Then I added a little bit of white to it, just plain white, model color, whatever this is, the same stuff. It's all Viejo. And I sprayed over that. Then I sprayed the Panzerschreck with just dark yellow, FX60 Tamiya, and I went ahead and kind of oversprayed even the uniform with that, and it gave it even some more highlight. And then the final thing I did was just put basic skin tone in my airbrush, and I hit the faces and the hands, or some of the hands. I'm not too worried about the hands as much. Those are easier to paint. I'm gonna paint the faces and hands in artist oils and the uniform in the acrylic model color paint. So it's looking pretty good, so let's get at it. I also painted the helmets, the Panzerschreck rockets, the ammo box for the rockets, and that ammo box with the dark yellow, and the helmets the same way I did with the German uniform, and I painted the rockets German uniform. I'm gonna weather those. So yep, that's it for those, so let's get at it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna paint the faces on the figures, and I've put my oils out here, artist oils, to do the faces. And what is gonna be is we're gonna mix these up. So for skin tones, I use burnt sienna, a little yellow, a little bit of red, and white. And a little bit of blue, and that kind of kills that orangey yellow look. And then this is burnt umber for the shadow, and this black and also the blue I'll use for the 5 o'clock shadow later. And then what I've got here is a piece of plastic, and once I get my colors the way I want them, I put it on here. And I can use that. And I'll just keep transferring stuff over from here to there to start working on the faces. You want, let's see here. You want an undercoat that's kind of fleshy. I mean, this is light color because I'm going to put this oil on and I'm going to keep wiping it, and it's going to go on. It's not going on thick. I'm going to smooth it in there. It's almost like putting it on and then kind of taking it off with a clean brush. It's definitely like a glaze. You don't paint it on like paint, like you would acrylics or enamels, whatever. You want to put it on and then basically really smooth it out where you don't see any lumps or anything. There's some really good YouTube videos on painting in oils. It's always easier with larger faces and figures, but I'm gonna do these. I used to work in oils. I did a lot of figures in oils a long time ago, and I did the whole figure in oils. But when you paint figures and you're a figure painter, that's what you do. You really get good at it because that's what you do. You're not painting armor and doing dioramas and all that. They're really good figure painters. They just paint figures. And as much time as I've spent on the building and the figures, putting them together, and the layout and this, that, and the other, and if I had a vehicle, a good figure painter spends all that time just on one figure, and that's why they look so good. If I spent a whole week on one of these figures, it would look a lot different than if I just spent a few hours on it So let's get at it and get these guys' faces painted. Okay, I put the first tone on, which is just basic, the flesh tone. And artist oils are really cool because I missed some on the hand there. Artist oils are really cool because it almost seems like they don't go on like, I don't know what the word is, like one exact color. When you mix these colors together, it seems like you just get a really better tonal look, even without adding tones. I really like the way it does. And I mean, it doesn't take much to make the faces look decent with artist oils. And as you can see, I spread the paint out. You know, you don't see blobs or anything. You want it total smooth, as smooth as you can get. I added a little bit of the terpenoid on here just to get it a little smoother too. Let's see this guy, and then this guy here. All right, so what I'm going to do now is going to add the shadows, you know, around the nose, inside the eyes, around the chin, and under his jawline, in between the cracks of the fingers, stuff like that. Anywhere there's going to be places for shadows, I'm going to add that. There's his knuckles stuff. Paint the fingernails a little bit, highlight those. And this guy. So yep, he's done. So now I'm going to paint the I guess the rest of the uniform in acrylics here, because I've already got acrylics on there. So we'll do that basically like I've done the other figures that I've done previously, but I'm definitely painting faces in oils from now on because, wow, I'm really liking the way this looks. I left the 5 o'clock shadow off this soldier because he looked really young, and I wanted him to be the youngest one in the group carrying the ammo. So that's it for this, and next I'll get an acrylic palette going. Okay, so I'm at the final stages where I've just got to paint all the details on these guys, like belting and cartridge pouches, canteens, bread basket, etc. I'm going to do that really quick here. Well, not really quick. I wish it was really quick, but I'm going to do it here today and hopefully finish this diorama vignette up. So let's get at it. Well, here it is, final diorama vignette scene. This one took a lot. I haven't painted 3 figures, one time in a while. I really enjoyed this one. My favorite part is the building. I really, really enjoyed the building. That was the most pleasure because it was scratch built. I did it on my own design, everything, the paint, everything. So that is definitely the most pleasing part of it. Converting the figure, especially this one, which really is the most conversion, is really pleasing also. The only thing I did really to the other 2 was just change the heads, helmet, things like that. One of the last things I did is add a little bit of water in the gutter here. And wow, this one took me a while. I know one thing I'm going to do from now on is I am going to concentrate on one figure at a time. That way I can really spend the right amount of time working on it where I don't feel rushed to go to the second one, or I've got to paint the same canteen on this guy and the next guy and the next guy. I want to spend the time working on it. So if the next scene, vignette that I do, I will paint each figure separately and not even work on the other one. I don't want to look at the other one. I want to make sure that each one gets the individual detail. So that way I know I'm getting the most out of my time and efforts. But this was very pleasing. I like doing scenes like this, and I want to start doing stuff that shows a story, gives an idea what's going on, and you know, just something that's a little different than the stock figures, or even if they're stock, that they work good together and I laid them out right. A lot of the DML figures, you know, the box art from Ron Volstad just sells them, and you buy them and then you put them together and they're real stiff or proportions are crummy. I picked these guys because the great coats are really nice and they paint up very well, and the poses are really good. I mean, they're good. But I'm going to really try to start doing stuff like this where there's some kind of movement, action, something happening in the scene. It doesn't have to be, you know, real fast action, but some kind of, you know, like alteration between the characters and something that's working together. So, but this is really cool. I like the Panzer check, and the guy taking the one rocket out, getting ready for the next shot. T-34 is coming around. But I'm really, I can't wait to start another building. It's really what I want to do. I want to start another building and do something like this with a little different style, different maybe place. You know, this is Germany. Maybe I'm going to do some Ardennes, Normandy. I don't know. Whatever I get interested in and grabs my attention is what I'll do. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna, you know, put some photos up of it now that I'll take, and I appreciate everyone who's watches my videos. I hope you enjoy them, and stay tuned for more.